we've completely been missing the point for years, and only now finally we're having the right debate, which is this argument that, B2B and B2C is different because one is companies and one is humans. That's completely the wrong argument, because all marketing has always been to humans. It's never been to machines or horses or whatever, and it will continue to be. Marketing is the discipline of trying to predict and influence human behavior. And human behavior is incredibly complex and to some extent intangible and unknowable. That's what makes it fun. But I think what people have completely missed is that in B2B, it's groups of professionals who together have to agree to buy from you. If you've ever worked at a company and you've had meetings with people where you're like, guys, let's try and agree on what we're going to do. It's incredibly complicated.
It's hard.
Like manufacturing agreement, facilitating agreement, that's the real job of B2B marketing and B2B sales, much more so than like touting the benefits of your product. It's really manufacturing that agreement between groups of professionals. And if you don't understand what is your promise of value to those groups of professionals, how do you articulate it in a way that's memorable, valuable, and deliverable, you are in deep trouble, because it's infinitely more complicated than trying to convince someone to go with, Colgate toothpaste versus Crest, right? Like that's a much more tractable problem. Figuring out what is the right cloud computing solution for our business is way more complicated, which is why we go back to the quintessential quote in B2B that is, decades old, but absolutely as accurate as it was before, which is no one ever got fired for buying IBM. That's from the, I think, late 70s, early 80s. And that is still true. That is, if you can be the brand where people say, well, no one ever got fired for hiring Goldman Sachs to be our bankers or using FedEx to ship our freight. But if you have that status, that's really, really powerful. And that only happens if the promise is very clear. And like Goldman Sachs, for example, the promise that company makes, at least in my perception, and they may want to influence that and change that, but it's very clear, because basically we are not the nicest people in the world, but we will work, and they're certainly not the cheapest people in the world that you could hire, but we will work around the clock to get this deal done, and then you will get the best terms for the deal, and we will not sleep until that is accomplished, right? And we have the best people, and we have the best IP in the world of how to do that, and we're going to charge you an obscene amount of money for this, and you're going to be happy. You're going to be happy to pay it, because you would have sold your business for a lot less if it weren't for us. So it's crystal clear. It's absolutely crystal clear, and that's really, really valuable. That is the holy grail of where you want to be. Is people understand exactly what you do on a emotional level as well as a visceral level, and it's safe for that group who is very emotional, because nobody in that group wants to lose their jobs. They can agree. It's the safe choice, and it's the right thing to do. And everyone's going to nod their heads, and no one's going to challenge an individual saying, why was it your crazy idea to hire Mimi and Rogers and Jan's consulting shack to try and sell your company when you could have hired Goldman Sachs? That's really that's what people care about.